Greetings one and all and welcome to the Mystic Mind Analysis. I am the Nightmare Rider, Mage of Mind, reminding you as always that even a cheeseburger can be deconstructed to its original source. We have seen small tidbits of development from Princess Luna since Season 2's Lunar Eclipse, primarily through the recent CMC episodes. While Luna sleeps, however, her dreams are far from pleasant. The creature she creates to torment herself with reenactments of becoming Nightmare Moon, Tantabus, is just the kind of creature you would expect to find created for a dreamscape. It is quite Lovecraftian in its design, being a shapeless mass that moulds itself to the fears of each individual pony, infecting their dreams to turn them into something uniquely horrifying for each one of them. Luna is essentially designed a perfect nightmare, one that feeds off her own anxieties and becomes a self-serving loop, growing more powerful off Luna's guilt. This becomes an unending cycle of self-defeating thoughts, starting off with a guilty conscience of becoming Nightmare Moon. This guilt leads to her catastrophist worries, thinking that a failure to remind herself of the guilt will result her in falling back into her old, selfish ways. But by reenacting these fears in her dreams, she continues to perpetuate her own guilt, beginning the cycle all over again. This does not reflect the reality of how she is now viewed by the Ponyville populace, since as we see from her interactions of everyone she encounters, they treat her as just another part of their everyday lives. In a sense, Luna still worries that she may be viewed in the same way as Discord, supposedly reformed, but still holding a great potential to cause distress. However, Luna has not demonstrated anything but a helpful attitude, guiding ponies through their dreams to resolve crises in their waking lives. So this fear of becoming Nightmare Moon results in a form of self-harm, a method which is founded on unrealistic predictions of what other ponies think of her. The fact that her dreams naturally end in a happy manner without Tantabus, as well as Luna's desperation to do the right thing, both show that she wants to forgive herself on a subconscious level. It's the fear of letting go of this guilt that holds her back from achieving peace. The dreamscape representing the central desires of the main six are done in quite a clever manner. While the dreams of Rarity, Twilight and Applejack are more or less what you'd expect, those of Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash are a little less obvious. Fluttershy dreams of being Angel's pet, a role reversal of her everyday life. This shows the weight of a day-to-day responsibility for caring animals holds, and considering how difficult Angel can often be, giving him a caring role would be Fluttershy's biggest relief. Rainbow Dash's ego is presented with her engaging in heroic combat against the changelings, although the area being otherwise barren implies that she is fighting for pride in her prowess rather than directly defend anyone. Pinkie's erratic dreams are very effective in reflecting her hyperactive nature in her day-to-day life. Since dreams are the manifestations of one's subconscious, the only difference we're seeing between Pinkie Pie and her day-to-day life compared to in her dream is that the world shifts haphazardly around Pinkie's thought. The animators use the dreamscape to the full effect with the average Ponyville citizens too, bringing back many references of past episodes, as well as building on the same principles of subconscious desires of the side characters, creating some hilarious moments for the battle scene against the Tantabus. While this episode is a very good one, it has some noticeable flaws that do hold it back, this being that the moral is delivered in a very heavy-handed manner. Luna is constantly narrating to herself about it's all her fault that Tantabus has escaped, repeating over and over about how she feels like a failure because she cannot stop it, thus repeating this cycle of self-defeat every time. While this is a good portrayal of how someone with self-defeating thoughts would act, it also means that I predicted exactly what the conflict resolution would have been from the very start. It could have been done in a more subtle manner if both the excessive dialogue and rushed pacing would have been eased up. We quickly jump from one dream to the next in a similar manner to Pinkie Pie, getting as many dreams as possible in there without much elaboration. If we had more of a slow build that takes place almost entirely in the dreamscape, all the dream content could have been left intact, but in a way that makes the threat feel more menacing due to how it has to escalate in size and power to escape each time. We could have also seen through Luna's expression and tone of voice to indicate how she fears the possibility of harming other ponies again, eventually spilling it out of her when Tantabus is about to escape into a working world. But as it stands, the only basic nature of how this is expressed takes a big chunk of the fun out of the episode. However on the nose the moral may be, it is still another case of Seasons 5 presenting lessons all can learn from. We can often be our own worst critics, setting up ourselves from an impossible game where we can never win, often ignoring how others see the good in us. This reminds me of the most quoted line from Tegen Topper Gurren Lagann: "Believe in yourself, not the Simon that I believe in, and not the commander that you believe in. Believe in the Simon that believes in you." While this line may seem like gibberish, it makes sense when applied to the context of someone who is suffering from self-doubt. It is one thing to believe in others, and it is another thing to believe that others believe in you. But it is quite another to believe in yourself because you have a valid self-worth. Tantabus kept growing because Luna did not trust that she could be anything other than Nightmare Moon, leading Twilight to provide a key piece of logic Luna has overlooked. Her actions define who she is now, not her past. So because her actions are one of attempted heroism, she is worlds away from who she was as Nightmare Moon. If we challenge these self-defeating thoughts with self-promoting comebacks, we can learn to give ourselves a foundation of self-love, giving ourselves room for error instead of holding grudges against ourselves. Rather than letting this guilt define us, believing that we are capable of doing better is the first step to personal improvement. Overall, once you get past the flaws in the structure, this episode becomes very entertaining. The animators continue to make Equestria feel like a full world beyond the central protagonist. Tantabus was more a force of the dreamscape rather than the ambitious villain, and seeing everyone get involved to battle is quite a spectacle to see. While the rushed pacing and overly excessive dialogue made this moral more obvious than it had any need to be, the fact that Luna grows a healthier self-esteem to recover from the past trauma is a beautiful piece of character development that people of all ages can learn from. You are okay. I give Do Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep a final grade of an A-. Until next time, this is the Nightmare Rider, Major Mind, riding out.